You smoking weed over there?
No, dude, I had eye surgery recently. All right, well, it looks like we're live now, so I guess I should talk about what's going on tonight. Good evening, everybody. I'm Dustin Pointer from Trackdays, and Jarred needs to turn the volume down on his computer so we don't have feedback. But yeah,
you still
tonight
should have no feedback.
Tonight I'm here live with Jarred Fixler from Motorsport Exotica, and we're going to talk about everything from his hair products to how fast his riders go. What's up, Jarred?
What's up, Dustin? Thank you so much. And today we're using just a dry pomade with a little bit of hair dryer in the morning with Head and Shoulders before work. Other than that, we're all natural.
Nice.
That's it.
I mean, that's really everybody's main concern. Never mind all that motorcycle stuff.
No. We're here for fashion tips.
The biggest concern is whether or not you're rocking the 3-stripe life or you're doing the van thing.
The vans come out for race days, but I have been on the hunt for a very special pair of J4s, Jordans, that I was thinking about picking up for the whole team for some footwear. I'm a sneaker collector, so
I'm not surprised by that at all.
Oh, I'm a huge sneaker collector. So footwear, just like Super Tech, our boots, and the gear that we wear, it's important, man. It's important.
Yeah, I mean, I have probably 300 pairs of Adidas. So
no, I'm with you.
Total chick when it comes to shoes.
I'm with you. I barely, we were just talking about this. I barely even ride a motorcycle very much anymore unless it's on my dyno. And I just picked up a new pair of Super Tech R's because they look so good on the shelf.
That's hilarious, man.
It's just one of those things.
So you've. I want to say your shop came on the scene like 3-4 years ago.
I opened doors officially to the public actually in 2014.
Okay.
But I didn't get into the race season. You didn't start seeing me in the paddock until I want to say 16. Okay. I think it's when we started to field our own first racer. But again, that wasn't anything like what it is now. I mean, that was a couple dudes in a 10x10.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good weekend.
Yeah. I kind of, I don't know if this is true or not, but I kind of have it in my head that I remember you kind of doing stuff with Randy Smith back in the day, the R6 junkyard guy.
R6 graveyard. R6 graveyard. Yeah, no, Randy and I have known each other for a long time. We raced together. We raced against each other back in Moto West GP. We did some track days together. When I first moved out here from the East Coast, I came out with a box truck and had a couple of my bikes in it, and 2 of them were R6s. So when I needed parts, he was kind of the guy to go. Now you can't spit and hit an R6 part that didn't pass through Randy's hand.
Oh, that's definitely true, man. So, when I met you, you kind of were working with Tanner, right? The guy that used to be the bartender at Newcomb's.
Yeah, Tanner was a longtime friend. He's one of the first guys I really met that showed me the ropes up on the mountain when I was street riding. And I promised him, just in a slightly inebriated conversation after hours one day, if we ever go racing, you should come race for me, kind of thing. And it happened. We went racing, and I was looking for somebody ambitious and young, and he was looking to get his feet wet, and we linked up. Now, believe it or not, I'm actually staring at him right now. He works. He's the shop manager.
What?
He's here. He works 5 to 6 days a week here at the shop. He's on the road with us. You can see him at some of the Trackdays events we go out to. You see him at the, all the different stops that we're at. It's he's worked other jobs in the interim, but he was my racer. He's up on our wall. He helped get our feet wet in the novice, and kind of we went through the ranks together, we'll say.
Yeah. I do remember Tanner with yellow plates on, and I do remember him getting the bump to expert. And Tanner kept you and Jacob busy.
Oh yeah. I mean, Tanner liked to put the bike in the dirt. He was very good at it. Tanner now rides dirt. We've moved him from road to dirt because that's where apparently he feels most comfortable.
I mean,
But
I don't think he kept you guys as busy as the next rider on the 600, but
I will say that all of my riders have had their pros and their cons, as any team owner, team manager, crew chief, whatever you want to call it, will attest to. But some have put it in the dirt. Some have just had setup changes more. Some have had tuning requests more. Some have had almost zero feedback altogether and just go, feels real good. Yeah. And then they're on the box. So, each, as you know, I mean, every rider is different. Every team is different. We just roll with the punches and try and deliver as best we can.
Yeah. So, when you started with Tanner, I mean, I remember seeing like maybe 2 or 3 guys that were also racing they would kind of park under your guys' tent or whatever. And then, when you brought Connor on, you had multiple riders under I mean, it was like y'all had
Yeah, we had that whole wing.
Dozen, right?
Yeah, we had that. We were coming out with 3 10x20s, and we were filling it, plus the trailer canopy, and plus some other guys that still had their own 10x10s, and we were filling those pit slots too.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, just speaking from the heart, I come from a humble beginning within this sport. I wasn't dropped in. I didn't have a father that did it. I didn't have anybody like that to kind of take me under their wing. I paved my road, my own road into road racing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys out there that I have found over the years that aren't looking for, a factory support, or aren't looking for mega help. They just need somebody to, proverbially hold their hand, somebody to receive the bike when they come in, say good job, eyeball the bike just so that they have peace of mind that, a master tech looked at it. So we work with, our riders, and whoever rides our, Motorsport Exotica bikes, we consider them our factory riders. I mean, they're not factory riders, but they're our factory riders. And then we have what we call satellite riders. So satellite riders are guys that either might be very good customers of ours, or guys that we see potential in and we want to help out or work with, or guys that are paying us to, to work with them and crew for them. And what we'll do is we'll have them pit with us, and we're there for anything that they could need, obviously within reason, that doesn't take away from whatever our factory rider situation is. So yes, there were definitely days out, all the way out there in the desert where we had 12 to 18 riders under our tents on any given weekend, some of which were friends that we were helping, some of which were satellite, and some of which were our quote unquote factory sponsored rider. But I'm really big in trying to make sure that everybody who wants to come out enjoys their weekend and is as infatuated and enamored by the sport overall as I am, because that's what drove my passion to do this.
What I liked about what I always saw in your guys' pit is that you had your main rider that you guys put most of your focus on, but in your pit you had female racers, you had a young guy, you had anything from a 400 all the way to 1,000. I mean, you had like a whole bunch of R6s and then an R3, a couple R3s, and
hey man, we might
that one dude, the GSXR.
You don't know. We might be coming out with baggers this year, bro. Watch your back. You don't even know. If it's got 2 wheels and a motor, we're down. No, but like I said, it's the same thing. Everybody starts somewhere within this sport. Some guys write a check and go ham and buy the HB4 race, and some people can't afford that and they start with a hand-me-down R3, and we want to treat them just the same. So I don't care what bike you ride, obviously, as long as it's safe, as long as it passes tech, and as long as it's not an absolute nightmare for us for the weekend, we're willing to at least entertain the conversation.
I mean, look, I've seen some of the riders you've had, and I mean, this is like an opportunity to kind of talk shit a little bit. But like, who out of your pit, like which rider would you say is like has been or was the most difficult to deal with?
So the most difficult rider for us to deal with, Tanner's actually walking around behind the camera raising his hand saying he was the most difficult rider.
I don't think Tanner was the most difficult.
No, Tanner was not the most difficult rider. So 2 of them were equal in difficulty, but for very different reasons. Our rider last year, Chad Lewin, great guy, great rider, executed fantastic. He was difficult are more difficult in a sense of the technical aspect. He demanded a lot of changes to the bike and a lot of setup things that we were chasing around for him to feel comfortable with the bike. So that was way more labor intensive than the rider that we had the previous year. And again, not a negative, just different.
Yeah.
The person we had before, Swoopy Doopy, good old Connor Duffy. Connor was not as labor intensive by any means, but Connor was more mental. Connor was also a coach for California Superbike School, so Connor already came into this kind of with his head on a different, at a different level in his mind of what it was going to be, being the fact that that's what he did, for a living, was he rode motorcycles all day, nonstop, all across the country and the world. So when we threw him in a race atmosphere, and again, you do 2-up rides, you do coaching. Coaching is not racing.
No, it's not.
They are.
Yeah. I
totally
I
different
actually got to
animals.
ride quite a bit with Connor, and I coached him as well. And it's kind of weird coaching a coach, because at the same time, he's really good at what he does, and I mean, the dude certainly knows how to ride a motorcycle. But there was a couple of things I think he kind of underestimated how difficult it would be for him, and
the transition.
Yes.
I don't think he geared mentally. Physically, I mean, all of my riders have physical trainers that we work with and so on and so forth.
I thought you were gonna say Connor, because like you all spend a lot of time fixing motorcycles.
we spent a lot of time fixing motorcycles. we did. But I think as you said, his biggest hurdle was the transition from being a coach to being coached, and from possibly being the fastest guy out on the track or one of the fastest guys at the school and so on and so forth, to the first round or two, I mean, we got our faces stomped in. It was not a seamless transition. So I think the mental aspect for him was a harder part. And again, I've been friends with him for many, many years. We've ridden together on track. He's coached me at Superbike School and vice versa. I think it was a difficult role swap for him when all of a sudden now I'm the coach, not as a riding sense, but I'm crew chiefing you. We're pulling down data. We're talking about suspension. We're talking geometry. And there was never, or not until the end, did I think that there was a true understanding of being eye to eye as, hey man, what I'm saying has some validity. This is what we do. At the end it pulled together, but that was definitely that was the biggest hurdle I think that we've had. And mentally with any of these riders, I myself, the physical stuff that had to go around the racetrack, the racecraft, that can be taught. That you can teach a monkey to do that. Doesn't mean you can do it, but you can teach a monkey the steps to go through a racetrack, an apex and exit, you can go through it, but it doesn't mean that somebody can execute it. Understanding geometry, understanding data, we have computer programs that spit a lot of this out. Again, I'm not talking about a Richard Stamboli or a Chuck Graves. I'm not talking about certain levels of it, but basic fundamental knowledge of your aim solo lap timer and knowing what you're looking at. Anybody can get, and anybody can go out there and use. The mental hurdle, I think, is the biggest thing for so many people. Just getting out of their own way and relaxing and going, all right, I can do this.
Yeah.
This is, how many people do you see doing the new racer school and crash? But they've turned laps all day long, nonstop, had no problems all day. Lap 1, new racer school. It's like a war zone in turn 1.
Not all the time. I mean, actually, it wasn't turn 1. The last time it was in the bus stop, right?
Oh, in bus stop. Yes, you're right. But you get what I'm saying. It's like they can't get out of their own way.
Well, the biggest thing for me, I've been racing for a long time, right? And, I've been racing longer than some of my customers have been alive, right? So I've gone through some of that stuff, right? It's like, dude, sometimes you feel like you get frustrated. You can't get the lap time's not come in, and you get frustrated, and then you get inside your head, and then you end up going even slower, and or you end up in the truck. Right.
That's
and sometimes, I've been doing it long enough to where I'm like, if I'm not feeling it, I just park the thing and just like, you know what, dude, I'm going to go back in the trailer, go back to bed.
No, trust me, there's days that I've wanted to park myself in the trailer. There's definitely days that I know Waffle has said, you know what, today's an inside day. Where it is though, a big factor of this is mental. And if you can't get your head out of it, and you can't be out there clear, you're fighting yourself. And there's not a crew chief, there's not a person in the world that can help you with that.
So I've got a couple of commentary for you. Ty Bankford says he's super impressed with your great hair.
Oh, I'm reading that. I thank you, Ty. I appreciate your love of my hair.
So
it's getting long. It's starting to puff up.
So Ty has a question for you. Basically, it's the same crap that he asked Stamboli last week, but he's done a single fast lap time, and I guess he's had a pretty big crash and jacked his collarbone up and stuff. He's like, how does he get a factory Motorsport Exotica ride?
Well, what was Richard's answer to that one? I'll just piggyback up.
Just wait by the phone.
That's it. There's check your spam, and there will be an email that comes out, and you'll have 30 seconds to reply. And if you miss the window, then it just goes to the next person. It's an auto-generated message.
Well, I think that isn't the next person Finley?
Finley knows he's had a factory ride forever.
Oh my God.
No, I mean, we're always looking for new talent, and we're always looking to work with new people. I mean, my rider for this year, we just did a post, Ezra kind of came out of the woodwork and is coming back into it after having some gnarly offs and whatnot. What any team owner, I think, looks for, I mean, I can't speak for other teams, but this is how we pay our bills, is promotion, is the
right.
brands that the strategic alliances and the brands that we work with, that we push, they push us. It all generates revenue for somebody somewhere. And then it trickles into, it trickles down to work at my shop. That's at the end of the day. That's why we go racing, is to advertise for what we do for a living.
Right.
So we're looking for, obviously, the fast lap time. We're looking for consistency. We're looking for somebody who knows what they're doing, and we don't think is going to be a royal pain in our ass, has a good head on their shoulders. I know that's the hard one, but we're also looking for somebody who understands the dynamics of what it takes to stay alive in this business, and how much racing costs. I mean, this is not a cheap thing to go do, and especially at the level that we're trying to do it. So somebody who has a good social media presence, somebody who's approachable, likes talking to the fans, just like yourself. You wander around the pits all the time talking to everybody, as do I. That's part of it. It's FaceTime. It's a mix of, I would say 70%, rider ability, 75% rider ability, capability, what we see in you. But there's a good 20, 25, or 30% of, are you marketable? Do you have a following? Do you have people that want to pay attention to you? What are you also doing on the back end other than just riding the bike?
So basically you're saying to Ty, he needs to grow a bigger beard?
That's what it is. I mean, it could be a bigger beard. It could be a bigger beard. Ty, I love you, but we gotta get you back on a bike before we're talking about factory racing right now. We gotta get you back out there.
He said Stamboli called him, but he'd rather ride for you.
I don't think he meant Stamboli. I think he meant Richard from Apex.
Oh,
called him.
That's probably accurate. Yeah. So what, you have a guy that's kind of been the main mechanic for the whole time I've known you, Jacob. What's the deal with the Waffle House thing? Where did that come from?
Where did Waffle House come from? Oh man. So I tell a very different story than what I think Waffle House wants people to tell. I actually don't know the God's honest story. When I met him, it was through social media. I actually put up a position, a tech position. He had been following us on social media. He had been chatting with me back and forth. He was living in Colorado at the time. And I said, hey, man, I'm in a pinch. This was actually out at a race weekend. I had just let go and fired one of my other techs. Was in a pinch. He messaged me, called me about an hour after the end of the race. And he said, when do you need me there? And I said, can you be on a plane in the morning? And he literally said, yes. Was on a plane the next morning. Came out here, stayed for a week, lived on my couch in my guest room at my house, went home that weekend, packed his stuff with his girlfriend, drove to Colorado, not even knowing where they were going to live, and started working that day. He's been working for me for 4 years now, give or take.
Yeah.
He has requested one day off. Then COVID hit. Then he didn't even take the day off because his plans fell through. So when you talk about
what the plan was,
yeah, he was doing
Top
like,
Chef thing, right?
yeah, it was a Top Chef for a Food Network or something.
We were gonna go to that too, man.
Oh, yeah, Dustin was going to that. Yep, and that got canceled. And then he showed up for work, and I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Well, Top Chef got canceled, so I guess I came to work." I said, "All right." But the Waffle House, I tell the joke that he was conceived in a Waffle House. I don't think that's true. I don't want to be the one that goes on record and says that that is where it came from. I don't think he met Felicia in a Waffle House, but something had to have gone down at a Waffle House.
That's
something,
enough, I guess.
He won't tell me. He just laughs and says, "Go with your gut." So that's the story I'm running with.
I'm going with the conception.
So am I. I think that's solid.
Yeah,
that's solid.
All right, so Chef OG, I don't know who that is. I think he's a racer at Chuckwalla, maybe, but he said he agrees with the head game stuff that you were talking about, how he's always trying to get out of his head. I think that's a pretty common thing with the club racers.
I don't even think it's just the club racers, man. I talked to a bunch of my buddies from Moto America. I've talked to some guys from World Superbike and hung out with them, and they've all said the same thing. And you can see it written on their faces. I mean, you even watch MotoGP. You watch the guys come off of a crash, or the guys in the morning, during free practice, their emotions are written all over their face. You can tell when somebody's not in the game or is struggling to get their head in the game. It's a mental sport, man.
Yeah. Well, going back to your crew, like you basically, where I was going with that is like you've surrounded yourself with good people on your team, and walk in the paddock, and it doesn't matter which track. It could be Thunder Hill, it could be Buttonwillow, it could be, well, it can't be that other place anymore, but, or Willow Springs even. What I've noticed about your pit is that it's always a good time. Like your crew are super friendly, and one of the things I've noticed, and when did you get, a year ago or something, you got this giant black trailer to go with your giant black truck?
Yeah, about actually started to commission the build on my Intech trailer 2 years ago, and then COVID hit, so they were shut down, and then it took about a year for them to actually build the damn thing. So last June, I jumped in my truck, drove straight to Indiana, 3 days straight out, hooked up this thing, and turned around and drove it straight back. Was there and back inside of a week.
What I've noticed about that trailer, though, I mean, you've been to a few of my Trackdays events this year, and you're offering a trackside service when you come to our events, and I think you're going to do that on the race weekends out there as well with the CRA. And what I will say I noticed is that you actually saved a bunch of my customers' day. So they broke something or whatever, and you guys were able to get them sorted and back out on track, and without even really missing a session. So
yeah, I mean, again, going back to kind of how we started this, the conversation with being humble and being able to help the other guys that are out there. I've been in a pinch in the past where I've needed parts back when I raced, or back when I was doing track days and whatever else, and you instantaneously go, do I have it? No, I don't have it. And you just have this big wall of defeat that just rolls over your body. And you're just like, well, I spent all this money. I bought all my tires. I'm all ready to go. And my shift lever fell off at turn 4. And now I'm screwed for the rest of the day. And now all of a sudden you find somebody who has it. And it's like the whole world just opened back up. And the camaraderie of the people that are in the paddock that are there to help you with that stuff. So we've been very fortunate and very blessed in the success that we've had with our shop, that we've decided that when we're at the track, we bring out 8 to 10 different tubs of spares, some new stuff, some used, just butchered stuff that we have laying around the shop. As well as, like I said, a full inventory of new Brembo products and, tire warmers, cap it, and all this other stuff. so that in a situation where somebody is screwed, we can try and help them out. It really sucks. None of these tracks are close. I mean, an hour, but they're not close. So on a Sunday, for you to drive home because you left it in your garage kills your entire day. So anything that we can do to kind of help people stay on track and facilitate the day, we're all about. I mean, obviously on race weekends, we section off half of the front of the trailer. I mean, it's, what is it, 30 by 18, so round up 30 by 20. So what's that? 600 square feet. So we have 600 square feet of outdoor roped off space that we consider our paddock section. We will move half of that over for our rider, and that gets roped off so that that's private for us. But the other side, on the big events, I bring out some of my other guys. I bring out some of the other mechanics. I bring Charles out, Tanner comes out, and we're here to help. We're here to perpetuate the sport. If everybody just went into their own 10 by 10 and then closed the door on their own 6 by 9 trailer and didn't talk to anybody else or never helped anybody else, this would be awful. This would be such a miserable place to go for the weekend.
Well,
nobody wants to do that.
I mean, we've definitely experienced that person, right? I mean, there are those people.
Oh, absolutely. And then you get the guys who close off. Then I've seen some other shops, and I'm not going to name names, that have been out there that decide that a $4 screw should be $65 because it's the only thing that you can do to get yourself back on track. Like, I don't think that any of that helps the sport in the long run. For you to grease your pocket with an extra $54 puts a really poor taste in somebody else's mouth. They don't even want to come back. Congratulations, you made $54, but we just lost an attendee to our sport.
Even us. I mean, we bring a little bin of attack spares, foot and peg holders and brake lever guards and that kind of stuff. Knee sliders. I don't know. You may or may not have been the one that bought all my knee sliders. I don't know, but
I bought a bunch of your Bickles, and now I think at any given moment we have 20 to 25 sets of Clucky Pucks with us at any time. And I have found that stop grip and traction grip and tank pads, it's like they come to the shop, we build them a bike, we say, do you want us to put this on your bike? No, it's ugly, I don't like it. Okay, they go to the racetrack and they come right up to us after the first session. Hey, you got any of that grip tape stuff for the side of my tank? Yes, we do. We knew you were going to want it.
I'm guessing on the race weekend you'll probably have to have yellow and white background and numbers too.
So that's actually an investment that I did probably about 2 years ago. I got sick of paying for other people to cut my stickers, so I went out and bought myself a vinyl cutter.
Oh, wow.
And we cut all of our own graphics in house. So we do like custom livery. We're not a wrap shop, but the Exotica decals and like on our bike, the Trackdays decals and so on and so forth. We cut all that in house. It's so we can mess with sizing and do whatever we need to do. I will be running a very large batch of 1 through 9 plus 0, probably 20 sets and 6 inches of either one. And I already bought a couple 100 yards of yellow and a couple 100 yards of white. That is not going to be pre-cut for backers, but will at least be sheets that you'll be able to purchase with some prefab numbers so that you can get yourself back out there.
So you're not going to have a roll of yellow duct tape with a roll of electrical tape to make numbers?
Hey, man, you know what? As big as we've gotten and as lucky as we are to be as successful as we are with our big fancy rig and our vinyl cutter, I've rashed up bodywork. Tanner has rashed up bodywork, and we have cobbled it back together with yellow duct tape and black electrical number plates. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, we've done what? I mean, we've been like I've been around.
I think I've borrowed tape from you.
I know
it happens. It happens.
Brake lever guards too.
Oh yeah, man. Like it happens. It happens. But it goes back to the camaraderie. I mean, you've gridded up right next to some of my racers in the past, where the second that visor goes down and that green flag drops, no, you're not best friends anymore. You're the first one into the hole wins. I mean, that's how this game works. But the second you guys come off track, everybody's cool again. If I need a lever guard and you got one, I'm sure you're gonna hook it up.
I'll back you up on that too. I mean, I've gridded up against some of your guys, and we've had some pretty epic scraps.
Oh, and, I've watched it.
And then afterwards, we're high-fiving and barbecuing, right?
Oh yeah. Well, back in the day, all the way out there, we used to throw some epic barbecues. You guys did. I know we did. You were there for the Last Supper that we threw.
Yep.
I think we had, God, 30, maybe 40 people sitting at the table. Plus, it was also Passover. So it turned into a whole Jewish. Oh, it was great. It was a whole thing, man. It took on a life of its own. All of a sudden, there's 4 barbecues going, and we got somebody deep fried a turkey.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you know, I've said this before about the club racing thing. You know, I mean, having having it set up to where everybody kind of like the attitude is just like we're kind of going camping, and then oh yeah, we're racing motorcycles too.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
so I mean, we're like you said, we're basically best friends in the pits, and then we're stabbing each other in the neck during the races, right? So I always appreciated about your guys' pit is that it seemed like there was a whole bunch of people in there hanging out,
Yeah, I mean it's a party. I mean, it's organized and orchestrated chaos, for lack of better words. I mean, it really is. It's all of my staff, all of my guys, and my rider. I mean, they know that we're there. We're there to race a motorcycle. We're there to put it on the box. We're there for a trophy. We're not there to barbecue. If we were there to barbecue, we would just go barbecue somewhere.
Right.
So as long as everybody and all my guys and everything, they understand that first and foremost is work and what we need to do. And we're not drinking while working on our bike, and we're not, none of that is happening, then it's fine. Everybody deserves to have some fun at the end of the day. Everybody deserves a little barbecue time. We used to bring out the mega loudspeaker and we used to party, and it's great. It's also really nice to blow off some steam at the end of, a hard Saturday or a hard Friday when your anxiety's already through the roof. Your rider has wadded the bike up twice that day. You're on your last set of everything. Your mechanic's going on 2 hours of sleep. Me as a crew chief and looking at data, the laptop decided the screen doesn't want to work anymore. And you're just sitting there like, hey man, just twist the throttle and pray, because that's pretty much all we've got now. It's really nice to knock a couple back with the buddies and unwind a little bit.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, the other side of that, it's not exactly a frat party either. So, I mean,
no, but it's definitely not a frat party, and it's all definitely within reason and within means. But going back 4 or 5 years ago, when we were still novice and we were doing the whole 10 by 20 pop-up tent thing, which is totally cool, we did party a little harder than I think we do now. I'm pretty sure there were some nights of 3 4 a.m. fireworks, and I'm pretty sure
you got married since then. Like
everything's changed a little. Everything's changed. But I've definitely been out to late Chuck Walla at 3 a.m. trying to figure out how I get back to the paddock. It's exactly. It's happened.
So Tim Powers says that he was at Superbike school last weekend, had some issues with his bike, and he said you were there to not only help him troubleshoot, but you even trailered his bike back to your shop for him to help get things sorted. And he appreciates expertise.
So we work with Calvin Superbike School. They're actually the longest school that we have been affiliated with. We've been with them for, I think, almost 6 years now. And coincidentally, we've become very good friends with, the codes, and that's where I got Connor from. And, one of my best friends, or my best friend, JJ and Steven, they're both coaches there, and he's the chief mechanic. JJ and Steven, they come out and ride your days, and, do hood rat stuff. And
JJ is like my, I guess you could say he's my Superbike school counterpart.
Yes, that's a great way to say it. He is your Superbike school counterpart.
Yeah,
that's it.
He's a goot.
He's just like you, though. He goes through
every time I see him. He's like, "Let's do wheelies this session."
Yeah,
dude,
he goes through 6 rears to every front, just like you. It's just put it up in the air and let's go.
Say that out loud, man.
Yeah. You guys come back with completely cooked rears and triangles on the front from just it hitting the ground and going right back up. But no, so we work out there with Superbike School a lot. We're at most of their events, especially all the West Coast stuff. And just like we do with Trackdays, just like we do with Fast Track when we're out there working with them, just like we do with CRA, AFM, we used to do with CVMA when we were out there. If I got space on the trailer and something is wrong, we'll take your bike back to the shop for you. As long as it's not a scheduled thing, we don't charge for the tow back. We do ask that you come pick your bike up at the shop, but if need be, it can be towed back out for a small fee to whatever the next event is that we're going to. And it's just, again, it's another way for us to help people that can't necessarily do all of this. You go out to a race weekend, you rented a U-Haul, you borrowed your buddy's truck, you're pulling your U-Haul, you as you do in your riders meeting, you say, is anybody not here with somebody? They raise their hand and you go, you don't have any friends. These people are out there without anybody and they have no means to execute. And if we can alleviate a little bit of that, we're all about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how you create that sense of community in the sport. And then at the same time as creating the community, you're also creating longevity, right?
Hopefully. Oh, for sure. I mean, I can't tell you how many of the customers we've saved at a track day or whatnot that have been with us for many, many years, that have left their old shop, whoever that may be, thinking that they were the greatest shop in the world, which nothing towards any other shop. But then they've said, hey, I loved the way you guys worked on the bike. I loved the, how in depth you were with us. I love the communication, the trackside support, the fact that you were, dependable and reliable. I'm jumping ship from my old guy and I want you to be my shop now. So we benefit from it. Everybody wins.
Well, I mean, so that ties into the steps that people take from a beginning track rider through racing, right? So I want to transition a little bit about going back into the racing thing. Like, what's your shop's plans for this season?
So we just signed Ezra Bobier. So Ez is going to be riding our ZX10. We're running in a we actually haven't fully decided which class we're going to run in right now. It's a stock 1000 bike for the most part, but we're debating as whether or not we want to turn it into a super bike. We're going to kind of see after the next couple of weeks. We'll be out at AFM doing some testing in 2 weeks to kind of see what direction we want to go with the bike and how comfortable he is, and is the risk worth the reward kind of thing. But Ez signed on for the CRA series with us, as well as kind of doing some promo track days and things like that. So you'll see him floating around our pit with his family. His brother will be around if he's in town. His father is there on the race weekends. His mother comes out. They bring the dogs. It's a family thing.
Yeah.
But he'll be running for us. We're really excited about it. We're looking for big things. He's putting down great numbers right off the rip. He's coming off of a gnarly foot and ankle injury that's kind of had him laid up for a while. So he's been working with the team trainer, trying to get him back right on that, and working on his nutrition and working out. I see all the stories of him pedaling and doing what he needs to. And we're just really excited to bring him on board. And we think it's going to be a great season. He's looking real good and real promising.
When I saw Ezra at that last event that you guys went to, our event, one thing I noticed about Ezra is that, much like his brother, he looks like he's lost like 20 pounds since I saw him before.
He's leaning out.
Boy, did you get a tapeworm?
Yeah, he's leaning out. So we work with this guy named Coach Arturo. He's actually out of Brooklyn. He's somebody I met at Superbike school. Yeah, of course he's back home. I actually met him at Superbike school, believe it or not. I built him a gnarly Ducati V4. And we've stayed in touch ever since. And that's what he does is, he's a personal trainer for quite a few athletes and some celebrity athletes back east. And he was gracious enough to say, hey man, let's do some stuff together. I used, Rachel Bocchino in the past. She was a bodybuilder and did some Olympian style stuff. She worked with some of my riders in the past. So she was great. She actually just moved back to New Jersey. So she's back East Coast now as well. But we're excited. The Arturo thing's been working real well. And Ezra seems to be making some great strides. He says he's feeling good. He's looking much better. He's, like you said, he leaned out.
Yeah.
And it's getting him with his mental game and just getting him on the box. And we're going to be there. I mean, he's putting down some fantastic times for the little seat time we've had so far out there.
Yeah. I mean, he looks aggressive too. Ezra's always kind of been aggressive. So, I've basically known him most of his life, right? So watching him progress like that, and now he's basically a grown-ass man, right? So
yeah, he's 20. He's 20. It's actually, believe it or not, we're working possibly with a sponsor that is a 21 and over kind of sponsor. They're an alcohol sponsor.
okay.
And it's so far, it actually has bitten me in the butt because they can't do anything with me until my rider's 21.
Well,
Given the fact, so we are looking at some backdoor channels to try and figure out how to make it work. But Ezra's growing up. I just wish that August, when he turns 21, would, come a little sooner.
nice. Well, talking about your sponsor stuff, I mean, you kind of got something behind you similar to what I got behind me. You got some Mithos suits back there. Look at that.
We'll get rid of that one. Yeah, we got
You're like, oh, we'll get rid of that one.
yeah, we got a wall of them. These are just some of the retired suits.
Like, how come you have Gills leathers? What's that about?
So, well, this was actually Gil's proto suit from many years ago, and we needed a display suit for an event we were doing. So that's the suit that Mithos hooked us up with because we were waiting for our Gen 1 suits, which I actually don't have here. Those are at home. But there was just a delay, so we needed something. And I guess either he didn't fit into it or whatever happened. This is back when you were first getting your suits. Ken just said, "Hey, I got a Gill suit, so that'll work. That'll work." So I've got Mr. Lewin's retired. This was actually his backup suit. We've got Gill's suit. We've got. We're trying to figure that out. We got Chad's suit, and then one of my retired, and then an old Dionysi. But yeah, we've been very happy with Mithos over the years. They're doing our suits for this season. I got a couple clients that are going to be outfitted into them. I definitely have a handful of racers that have come through my shop, some of my satellite guys that are all rocking it, and we're excited to continue the partnership.
I mean, we're pretty stoked on the Mithos thing too, man. Like you know that I along with Ken Tam were kind of instrumental in bringing those things to the U.S. So I think it's pretty awesome seeing how much the footprint, if you will, at the racetracks grown since we brought them in 2018. So
oh man, I remember that. I think that weekend or the weekend after or whatnot, being way out there in the paddock and going into having Ken pull me aside and say, "Hey, don't tell anybody this, but we want to work with you as a pilot team. Don't say anything to anyone because we haven't released anything yet, but
yeah,
Coiner and I are doing a suit thing, and you want to hear about it?"
You're all yes.
Yeah, of course I want to hear about it. And we've been on board and we've been doing stuff ever since. We work with a lot of our strategic partners. I mean, we still work with Alpine Stars. They still make the Tech Air vest. We still use them for the SuperTech R boots. We've been doing them. I know Mithos is going to be dropping some gloves soon, so we're excited to see those start to roll out. I myself have been riding A Stars gloves. I know that's what Ezra's on right now. But it's been cool to see the brand evolve.
Yeah, well, the suit thing. I mean, dude, like I just had some minor repairs done on this one. Being a bit of a goon, I kind of dragged the knee cup on the curbing a bit and eventually wore a hole through it.
I've sent myself in my Gen 1 and my Gen 2 several times.
Yeah, so the Anthony's dude definitely knows taking apart the Mithos stuff, and he had my suit done in like a week. So it's
cool. It's great, and it's definitely cool when when you call down there and they handle it. It's just not so great when they pick up the phone and they go, "Hey, Jarred, what did you destroy?" And they know me just from caller ID. It's like, wow, we rashed up that many suits that our phone number by now. Great.
Yeah. So I'm looking at your shop behind you, and I see your little, helmet, and they probably got a gas pump trophy over there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things I remember about going to your shop. You would have these like epic, 200 people, 300 people, 400 people bike nights where you had such a crowd in that little tiny space that you have. Like your shop's pretty small, and like you had that many people there. for those
We're
bike. It's that time of year again, right? When's that going to start up? When are we going to do
so
the throttle up, throttle?
we used to do Throttle Thursdays.
There you go.
Throttle Thursdays. We are going to start back shortly. We've got a bunch of things in the works. So regarding our bike nights, I've been going to bike nights, especially when I started Exotica, and was really big for me, to promote the brand. I was going out every night of the week, 2-3 different bike nights over and over and over again, nonstop. Great. I don't care who you are, and I say this with every fiber of my being. I don't care who you are. There is a point where you just don't want to have the same conversation again, over and over and over and over again. Where you go to these different bike nights, and it's these groups of people, and it's awesome to see the camaraderie and everybody hanging out, but it's the same conversation over and over and over again. So we came up with our Throttle Thursday, which was a kind of a secret bike night. It was posted up everywhere. Anybody can join. It was open for people. We had people from Arizona. We had people from Vegas. We had people from NorCal. I've had guys fly in and drive in just because they wanted to be part of it. I've had actually a couple of guys come up from Mexico, San Diego, Washington.
I remember the
Irish
people. They came out
we've had
track day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We've had people that weren't on motorcycles that have literally come out to LA to come to one of the bike nights. Crazy, right? But we did our bike night a little different. So we started at the shop where everybody can meet up, and that was cool because it allowed a lot of our vendors, and this goes back to the same thought of giving back and working with the people that helped you, where we invited all of our vendors down. Trackdays came down, Mithos has come down, Motul has done stuff, Pirelli, GP, Two Wheel Legal, the different track day organizations, Tour by School, Fast Track, so on and so forth, Apex, where we wanted to do a raffle of some sort that really engaged with our clientele. So there was actually a purpose. It gave a time and it gave a place, as opposed to we will be at XYZ location from 8 o'clock till whatever time the police throw us out. This gave an actual time and a place. So it gave somebody a sense of purpose as to why we were doing this. So we would do this whole raffle and give all this stuff away. We were giving away, I think at one time we were giving away almost $10,000 in prizes, and on a Throttle Thursday. It was great. And then I never told anybody where we went, which I think was this air of mystery. We never released where the ride was going to go. We never released the end destination until the night of the ride. So you either had to come, or you had to have somebody there, you had to watch the live stream, or you wouldn't know where we were going. And the reason we did that is I actually reach out and I put a lot of time into each bike night. So every location we went was different. We'd hire security. We would take over the entire gate or the entire parking lot. So we had security for all of our bikes. And whatever restaurant or bar that we went to was always of at least the mid to higher end scale. We had them run a food special. We had them run a drink special. We had them run certain specials to accommodate us bringing 200-300 people to an event. So it became this catered to cultural night or cultured night of motorcycles, where it wasn't just 29 or 30 people standing in a parking lot kicking each other's tires going, well, you got chicken strips.
Yeah,
You got chicken strips. Oil.
Thing. I got this. Look at my new pipe.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just free rev my motor until my headers glow so bright red that I have to come back with the truck and pick your motorcycle up.
Right.
So it turned it into an event, and it turned it into something that I think a lot of people weren't expecting or hadn't experienced at a bike night, hadn't gone to a nicer restaurant and had them shut down 3/4 of the facility for us and just start bringing food out and just bringing out virgin drinks for everybody. I mean, we're riding motorcycles, but virgin cocktails for everybody, and had security, for the bike. So you felt safe leaving your bike there. It turned into an event way more so than just a generic bike night. And I think that was the big appeal to everybody.
Dude, I'm looking forward to going back to those because that was always a good time. And honestly, dude, like I got a bunch of customers out of that.
And everybody did.
I'm like, hey, I'm selfishly like, dude, start the fucking bike nights up again, dude. Like,
no, you're not my only vendor. Pirelli is calling, asking, hey, when are we going to give away some more rubber? Motul, I see Casey all the time. He's like, whatever, it's turned into one of those things where it's an established event, so we can give away cool stuff. It's not, it's not just a sticker. It's like you just want a $500 track day or a set of slicks or coaching at California Superbike School or a helmet. Swami gave away some helmets at one of the events. These are $700 carbon helmets.
Yeah,
we were throwing helmets out into the crowd like they were drumsticks. So it was like, all right, cool. It turned into something, and I thought that was so much more fun, and I just saw the interaction. It's one of the restaurants we had cornhole set up, we had bocce set up, we've done a pool hall. I think we did a putt golf the first one. Where it gets rid of the stigma of, oh, you're going to a bike night, or you're going to stand in a parking lot for 2 hours.
Yeah. Kind of like the cars and coffee at nighttime, basically.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And again, I was promoting the brand. So how many different bike nights did I want to go to in one night and have the same conversation? It was like, this is painful.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get you, man. I mean, we were kind of like elder statesmen in the sport, right?
Yeah.
Like I've become the old guy in the sport, and we've been hosting events for over 20 years, and so we used to do. There was one really cool, probably the coolest bike night before you guys came along was there was one at the Speedway Bistro. It was like a motorsports themed kind of.
Oh, that's cool.
Bar and grill thing in Costa Mesa, and like we'd go down there and there'd be like 1,000 bikes there, and like you go inside and it was like Formula One car pieces and NASCAR hoods and but
see, that's what's fun
in there. I mean, it was cool, and then that place kind of fizzled out like I don't know 18 years ago or something, and like it never. I mean, there's been a few others, but I mean, that one was probably one of the coolest ones because I think it was mostly because of the type of equipment that you would see there. I mean, you would, at that kind of, like at your bike night, everybody just generally just rides whatever they ride there. And it's, you have your Italian stuff and everybody's got their, whatever it is that they're riding. But those bike nights I'm talking about, people would roll up on like an R7. Or a two-stroke whatever,
Oh yeah. No, we've had some cool stuff. I mean, we've seen a bunch of super legeres. We've had a couple guys on HP4 races on slick show up without headlights and want to come. And we've definitely got an eclectic mix of bikes. Like I said, they literally come from the entire west coast. We've had people. But it is. I mean, I think what made our bike night so successful was we attempted to throw in a dash of class into it in the establishment that we went to, so that it felt a little bit more upscale. It felt like it was a little bit more planned, and there was a little bit more effort put into it than just a parking lot.
You guys had a writers meeting before you left, so
we had to. We had police escorts on some of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, look, guys, like we're doing this, and
it's a thing. I mean, you've been to the shop. We're on Santa Monica Boulevard, 100 yards from the West Hollywood border. We're in the heart of LA. And then you want me to take 300 to 400 riders on a Thursday night at 8:30, and this is pre-COVID, in gridlock traffic, and get them to Malibu? Yeah, we got to put some stuff in place here. Oh, and I mean, I think the last one we had a police escort at one point. I remember having somebody, I don't know if he was an undercover or what, but I remember him blocking a couple lights for us, just being part of it. It just grew and grew and grew. We're really excited to bring them back. My biggest caveat that I'm running into is just that. Where am I going to do this? Right. I don't know a establishment that we are willing to do this at, that's to the level that that we strive for. Right. That's going to say, sure, you could bring 300 people to our restaurant right now.
Right. I'm sure they would love to have you.
Honestly, that was one of the easiest parts of the whole bike night, was figuring out where to go, because I'd call around to restaurants or buddies' restaurants, and they would say, "Oh, you're going to be a bunch of guys in patches, and revving your motors, and your stereotypical biker gang." Say, no, these are a bunch of blue collar, white collar, and every collar in between guys that just want to come out and have some, have a cocktail and be in the camaraderie of the bike scene. They say, "All right, well, how many?" "I don't know, 300? "Oh, sure. Would you like to do a drink special? Would you like us to close the back for you?" It's like, yeah, when you bring that many people, they want us to come. Now, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, the health department tries to shut them down, especially what county that you guys are in, right? So, Orange County, you'd probably get away with it.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would get 300 people from here to OC.
Yeah, well, Huntington Beach isn't that far.
Yeah.
Let's go 30-mile ride on a Thursday night.
On a Thursday night. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's they're coming back. They will be back. You will start to see them posted. They will be posted as quietly as they always are, and then as hopefully as they always do, word of mouth will come around on them. But it's always a secret. You'll never know, and we'll never tell you where we're going until you show up to the riders meeting.
So, much like your presence in the paddock and your bike nights, I mean, everything is kind of over the top with you guys. And one of the things I've noticed, you're a big time pit bull guy, and we do these raffles, and man, you gave away like $1,000 of stuff at the last pit bull raffle, and so
I got a soft spot.
You have the same.
I got a soft spot, man. I really do. It's not my first time. We did a MotoGP release party up in Newcomb's Ranch. I think we had just shy of like 2,200 to 2,300 bikes come up there, and I partnered with Best Friends Animal Shelter and did the same thing. We raised a whole lot of money for them. I got a soft spot for dogs and cats, whatever. I'm here to support them, but dogs are my jam. I spend my day talking to people nonstop, and I've come to the realization that people are always going to be people, and people can make their own conscious decisions. And some people are just going to suck, and some people are going to be awesome, and some people are going to suck, but they have the ability to be awesome, and they choose to still suck. So why am I going to waste my time and spend my hard-earned money helping you suck less when you genuinely don't care that you suck?
Oh man.
I mean, that's it. You make some of these choices in life. You make your bed, you lay in it. Everybody wakes up the same way in the morning.
Right.
I can't say that for the dogs. They don't necessarily want to suck. Sometimes their owners just suck. So when I see that, I'm not a huge fan. I'll punch somebody in the face for punching their dog. You want to punch your brother? Have at it, bro. That's between you guys.
Yeah, and while we're talking right now, I just got a text message from a friend of mine asking if the rescue we work with takes Rottweilers.
Oh, there you go.
And he's not watching the YouTube thing. He just knows that we help with the rescue.
I don't know if Cliff Ramsdell, I believe is his name, is a CVMA guy. I don't know if he's watching, but him and Tammy Mingus were out at Superbike School with us this past weekend, and we found a rescue dog. And Cliff spent half his day driving up Avenue 61 or whatever, because the collar had no name on it, no phone number. It just had an address, and the address was like a burnt down meth house. So he spent half his day driving up and down all around Rosamond looking for the owner. This beautiful border collie, like shepherd dog, awesome dog, super cool, super chill, but spent the day doing it. And I told him, hey, bro, if this doesn't work, put her in my trailer. I'll take her home. I'll figure it out.
We work with the Halfway to Home up here, and
yep.
They're actually located kind of on the other side of the hill behind Willow. They're like way.
Oh, okay.
And but yeah, I mean, you go there and they have a lot of pit bulls, a lot of Chihuahuas, obviously, like every rescue, right? I mean, people just, for whatever
people
reason,
drop them.
Pit bulls and Chihuahuas make up like 90% of all the shelters. So, we go there, and the last time I was there, this is kind of funny. It's not really funny now. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time. But there was a dog that kind of looked like our brindle Moxie,
Oh
and
yeah.
so I'm giving this dog treats, and like we're all cool. And then I go to pet this dog, and it was suckered me, man. It got me right on the finger, and like I had like the black fingernail for like a
Oh,
6 months
nice.
or something.
Well, yeah, I'd bite too if you locked me in a cage. If I came from a home and you gave me away, I didn't understand life, then you locked me in a cage all day and I
But
pissed myself.
but
Like that sucks.
the story a lot of the time with the pit bulls anyway is quite a bit the same. I mean, a lot of these, a lot of the dogs, like people will just up and move. Whatever kind of people they are, they up and move and they leave their pit bull chained to the backyard.
Yeah, and sorry, I'm moving you just because my guys are gonna start a little stuff here in the shop. It does. It's one of those things where I like I said, people choose to suck and that's your call, but the dog
Right.
doesn't, and I have a soft spot for that. That's just I don't
So
know.
my wife is texting me. Apparently, she's in the other room watching this, and she wants to know what happened to the dog.
Oh, the white dog.
Yeah.
Actually, so coincidentally, what happened was Cliff went down to the front gate at Willow, spoke to one of the attendees that work at Willow Springs. They then had said that the dog belongs to somebody who has a house up on the hill behind Willow. But the guy just chains the dogs up, leaves them outside, abuses them, doesn't feed them, doesn't do anything. And apparently this dog runs away all the time. They have brought him back several times. So the woman at the front gate said, I mean, if you take the dog, we'll look the other way. The dog's gonna have a better life with you anyway. So do you want to just take the dog? And what I think happened is there was a guy there with his son who was on the dirt track and was pulling into the gate at the same time. And the son started playing with the dog. And the dad said, we'll take the dog. I'll get a dog to my son. And I'm pretty sure that that's where the border collie went. Is he went to the dirt track with the father and the son, and we didn't see him again. So I'm pretty sure that that dog now lives in a much happier, much nicer home somewhere else with a family and a kid that loves him.
That kind of sounds like a story that my wife was involved in recently. I guess there's a friend of ours that's a real estate person, and I guess there's a neighbor that has a dog that gets out all the time, and they kind of keep him in a little tiny crate and stuff, and basically the neighbors kind of plotted against that person, and somehow the dog disappeared. And like they called Lily, and they're like, hey, can you like hook up that rescue?
Yeah, right. No, I had
it's crazy because
I
guess the dog, a lot of people don't, still today it's weird, people don't ship their dog, right? So
look at the comment we just got from John Huggins. I've seen that dog running on the streets of Willow Springs.
Oh my God.
He doesn't run there anymore, man. That dog is gonna a happy home somewhere else.
That's hilarious.
No, I'm excited, or I'm not excited. I'm stoked that you guys work with the animal shelters. And as you know, there's never even been so much as a hesitation when either you or Lily say, hey, this is why, just tell me what's up. You've got a better chance of getting me to do things when it comes to charity events for dogs than you do having me go clean up the trash on the side of the 101 for the homeless people. I'd rather help the dogs, man. I'd rather help the dogs.
Wow, man. Well, you know what, Jarred? It looks like, I mean, dude, it's like getting kind of late for you guys. How late do you guys typically stay at that shop?
Till the work is done.
Wow.
We are open.
I'm seeing bikes getting rolled in.
Yeah, so there's some stuff coming in. We've got, I think, 50 or 60 bikes here at the shop right now. They're outside. We got some in the trailer. We have a rental unit that we use for long-term bikes. We do some bike storage. Okay. It's kind of a side gig I just started doing. I've got a very secure facility that we do long-term storage for some of our clients' bikes. So we've got bikes all over the place. There's probably 6 or 7 in the dyno room behind that wall. But we're, as you know,
the story with the one on the number 1 with the number 1 plate behind you. What's that about?
This is the ZX. This is our race bike for this year. That's the cow. So Connor won. What was the not Connor. What did Chad win last year? Super Sport Open. We took P1.
Okay.
Formula was P2, and then the shootout was 3rd. So we, in the interim, in between riders, we just ran with, technically it's not for CVMA, but it's the number 1 plate in that class. So we took a 1, 2, 3 in our 1, 2, 3 classes.
Okay.
So that's the bike, new livery. It comes out. You'll see it at AFM. You'll see it on the 26th at the Trackdays event.
Yeah.
Bike will be on display.
Yeah,
and,
my new livery is coming too.
I saw that your glitter bomb new livery. I'm excited to see this. I'm really excited. I'm excited to see it on the grid when the sun hits it and everybody around you is doing one of these and the flag drops and you go.
Yeah, I mean that painter guy, Matt from Color Zone. He's colorful personality.
He's good. We've spent many a time on the phone together.
And he has some pretty colorful commentary about that and how he's like, wait a minute, you're gonna race this?
Yeah. No, but you
like,
have fun with it. When we had Chad riding for us on our belly pad, it said Mazel Tov in bright gold foil. Like, have fun with it, man. If you take yourself too seriously, you die and nobody cares. Like, you gotta have some fun. At the end of the day, we're out there racing. We're out there having fun with our friends.
Exactly.
We're doing hood rat shit with our homies. Like that's what we're doing.
Have some fun. I'll be out there for that AFM round as well. I guess I'm waiting on AFM to like approve my license thing so I can register for some races. But
well, last time you raced was 77.
Oh god,
79. You had the needles and float bowls and
no, dude.
Thing.
I'm not that old.
You're just on the grid and turn my jets.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, dude. No. I started when bikes had steel frames and carburetors. I will admit that. We all had the same back when we all started. Jimmy and Gil and a bunch of the original Trackdays crew. We all started on those like Honda F3s and F2s.
Oh yeah.
So
I had an F4i. That was a great bike.
Yeah, well, that was after, that was
Yeah.
a couple years after, but
no more the little jet screws and float balls.
Yeah. I mean, I've been club racing for a long time, and I've taken a few years off here and there in the 20-something years of doing this, but I still love it, and I still have that hunger to go racing, and I'm squashing some crap I had with AFM to go race just because I want to go race.
You should. And I mean, to everybody, I don't know how many people are listening to this or, how much water, my comments hold or whatever else. But even if you're not racing, even if you're just a club day guy or a track day guy or a canyon guy or just a street commuter guy, but you share the passion of motorcycles that everybody that's watching this and everybody in the paddock does, come out to the race. It's $10 or whatever to get into the race. Come hang out in our pit. Come hang out by Dustin's pit. Come to the Trackdays and wander around and just watch some people ride. You might know somebody. It might be the coolest experience you've ever had. And the next day, all you want to do is go ride and build a motorcycle. You don't know. Come out. It's not going to hurt you.
At one of our last events, I think it was one of the ones that you were at, we had a group of Mormon missionaries.
I saw that in the shirts, the tie, the whole. I saw it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Come out, man. Yeah. You don't have to grid up to feel like you're part of something. You can come out and just hang out and be part of it. You really, really can. It's like a bike night, but better.
Yeah, I mean it's a good time. You come check out some races. Buy a hot dog or whatever, and
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, we generally, a lot of the events, we have free giveaway stuff that we sometimes bring out. I know at track days, you guys generally have some giveaway food and like some munchy stuff for people. Just come and be part of the culture that is motorcycles. And I think most people will be pleasantly surprised what kind of doors it opens, because it's opened a whole lot of them for me.
so before we wrap this, you know, let's talk a little bit about like the type of equipment that you guys work on there. I mean, I see a bunch of different colorful stuff. You know, is Motorsport Exotica the place? Like, say I have a 93 CBR 900RR that needs a carb clean or valve adjustment. Is that the type of stuff?
So Motorsport Exotica is technically open to all makes and models, although we do specialize in Japanese Italian sport bikes. Our bread and butter is generally 04s, 05s, and newer, things that are fuel injected, things that are more current, things that either people are racing or we're racing and whatnot. That's really where we excel. You know, we have Ducati specialty tools, all the Aprilia specialty stuff, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Ducati, you know, whatever the brands are. That's really our bread and butter. We do not touch any kind of cruisers. We do not touch any kind of touring bikes, not because we don't know how, not because we don't want to, but for two reasons. A, we have friends that have shops and that's all that they do. And it keeps their lights on and their bills paid. And that's what they specialize in. So why would I do a job where I know somebody that specializes that could possibly do it better, might have the parts on hand, and we're here to help the motorcycle community. So if I can send some work his way, why would I not? Wise man once told me it's way, way, way better to be good at one thing than it is to be mediocre at 10 things. Yeah. So we have picked the racing and kind of the cutting edge and the technology in that niche market. And that's what we do. Some of the older vintage bikes like these CB300s and this retro cafe stuff that's all coming back. And these are bitchin' bikes, these airhead BMWs. These are super, super, super cool bikes. They're just not what we do. And it's not that we can't, and it's not that we won't. It's more so that we know somebody who will do it better, that we trust with it, that we think is a better fit for the end experience. Places like Charlie's place, where all that they do are vintage Hondas. That man has probably forgotten more about vintage Hondas than you and I will ever know in our lifetime.
Or want
to know. So why, yeah, exactly. So why wouldn't I send my vintage guys to him?
So basically what you're saying is if you want to restore an old Vespa, you're not the place.
We did. I mean, correct. If you want to restore an old Vespa, we are not the place. But with that being said, we did do the Vespa that's in Bruno Mars's video. I want to say it's a 24 karat video that he did years and years and years ago. His PR people dropped off this raggedy ass vintage Vespa and they said, it's going to be in a music video. Can you help us? We're in a pinch. And we brought this thing back to life, and he rode it around or whatever else. First and last time we had a Vespa in the shop.
And I didn't even know that. I just threw that there.
I was waiting to see if you were going to bring it up. I wasn't going to throw that nugget of knowledge out there. But yes, if it's got a motor and it's got two wheels, you want to stop by. I'm sure we can answer your question. But it is just like every shop in this industry. We are all extremely busy. I know, Wheels in Motion, myself, Attack. We're scheduling weeks, if not months out to get in. Parts are, I mean, at this point, I kind of have to cobble parts together myself before Olin's can send me a new shock or before Brembo's sending me calipers.
I've noticed that across the board on parts, there's like, because of the COVID thing, I mean, third-party supply chain got in.
You're not getting it. I've got parts on order for some of my clients' builds that the manufacturers are telling me 22 to 26 weeks. 26 weeks. So you want to go racing? How's your 2023 look? We'll get you dialed in by then.
Wow.
It's what the industry is right now. So whoever your local shop is, support them, embrace them, be on their good side, because everybody is jammed. Calling them 600 times a day saying, is my bike done? Is not going to get your bike done any faster. We don't make the parts.
Could you imagine me calling Richard and being like, hey, bro, is my bike done?
Is my bike done? Is my bike done? Is my bike done? no, Dustin, we're on our way to the CODA test. All right, cool. Well, can you go home and finish my bike so my bike can be done?
Oh, yeah. So
Be
totally get.
be kind to your mechanic. He's not making the Brembo parts. Attack actually is making a lot of your stuff. But
Yeah,
some of these guys are not making the parts. We're doing the best we can.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? You got a good program, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the grid this year, and racing against you guys. And
No, I'm excited, man.
maybe
I'm super excited.
we'll have a cook-off or something, maybe.
Oh, for sure.
Can't
We
beat
got
you
a
on
new.
the track. We'll beat you in the.
I don't know, man. That new trailer might have came with a new Traeger.
Uh-oh.
It's coming. I'm coming after Randy from 619. This is your official shout out, bud.
Oh wow, dude! You're calling out Randy. You're gonna try to out
we will see by the end of the year. No, I'm just messing with you. His food is fantastic. I love eating in his pit. Are you kidding me?
Dude, that guy does barbecue. Dude, we ask him if he comes out, and every time he comes out, he cooks for my whole crew.
Oh, us too. We get ribs, and he does pork shoulder. And Randy's on fire. Randy also 619, same thing. Humble beginnings. Started off real small, and I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. We've been watching him grow and grow and grow over the last couple of years. He's killing his game. That's so awesome to see.
Dude, Randy's coming out to that Trackday circus thing this summer.
Utah.
You gonna do that?
Speed Carnival? Carnival of Speed, whatever we're calling it.
No, it's the Trackday circus.
Trackdays circus. Yeah, we might be making a guest appearance.
Okay.
We might show our face.
But you just want to go out there and learn how to wheelie, or what?
I just want to go out there and eat some barbecue.
Well, that's a hike to go eat some barbecue, but
some hang time with the friends. You never know. Maybe even I'll put leathers on for that event.
You should. Have you ridden that track before?
No, I've not. Utah?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
let's just start with have I ridden in a while, period. Let's just start there.
You told me at the beginning of the conversation that you rode, and less than stoked with your performance. And Aaron is call you later.
Mithos is providing me and my staff with new suits very shortly. So once my new gear arrives, there will be wheelies to come.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I guess that Patrick guy from Texas, I guess he's going to bring some rig thing and teach everybody that goes to that circus thing how to wheelie. So
that would be super cool.
Everybody that joins this epic event will have the opportunity to learn that. And I've seen videos of him working with like a 70-year-old dude, and the guy.
Oh yeah, it's got the whole wheelie rig and everything.
Yeah, like a 70-year-old guy was like doing stand-ups. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. The bike doesn't know if you're a male, a female, a boy, a man, a kid, a child. It has no idea. If you turn that throttle, just hold on.
Yeah, dude. That's kind of what we're thinking. But well, it's been good talking to you, Jarred. And dude, I'll see you at the track.
No, this has been awesome. Thank you for doing this. Thank you, everybody who supports us. Thank you to everybody. I'm excited, and I look forward to seeing you out there in a couple of days, bro.
All right, man.